Hey, what's up? Welcome to Bored Housewife of Silicon Valley. My name is Hope, and today I'm going to lead you on an expedition through my 5-star reads, also known as my best of 2022, but it's March, so calling it my best of 2022 seems a little off because we are literally 3 months into 2023, but it is what it is, and we're gonna go with it. I have 6 books here. These were my favorite on the year. They were the only 5 stars I had in 2022, and they are also my most current 5 stars because I don't think I've had a 5-star yet this year. I had one that was very close, but I don't know if it's actually made it to 5-star status. Anyways, totally side tangent. Let's start with And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer by Friedrich Beckmann. This is a small little book. It follows Noah and his grandfather. It's about memory and loss, and his grandfather is losing his memory, and about family. It is so small, but it packs one of the most powerful punches ever. I loved this book, obsessed with it. I was so stoked when I was able to get it on sale on Amazon. Probably a Boxing Day sale or something like that, I'm not sure, post-Christmas, but it is just spectacular and so worth your time, even though it'll only maybe it won't take you very long to read, but it is incredible. The best short story I have ever read in my life, which, I mean, I'll be honest, isn't saying too much because I don't read a lot of short stories, but there you have it. We have Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doerr. I only discovered Anthony Doerr in 2022, and I have since read all of his full-length novels. I love his writing so much, but this one is definitely my favorite. This follows 5 different people. What are their names? Anna, Omir, Seymour, Zeno, and Constance. 5 different people over 3 timelines, and it's all connected by this one story of story of Aethon, and how it connects them all together. The way this is written, I just think is so brilliant, how he's able to thread and sew these storylines together, even though they are centuries and centuries apart. Such different lives, such different characters. I thought it was incredibly well done, really compelling. It did take a little bit for me to get into this one, just because you are having to kind of figure out where in the storyline you are at the chapters, because it does jump between quite a few characters, but this, spectacular, and so incredibly thankful to have found him as an author. I have loved all of his stuff. Still Life by Sarah Winman. If ever there was a book about found family, that is this book. It is spectacular. This follows 2 people, Ulysses and Evelyn. Yeah, Ulysses and Evelyn. And they happen to meet up during World War II. They have this moment, this time where they are together. It's not a romantic encounter by any means, but they leave lasting impressions on their lives, and they separate, and the years go by, and you're following their lives, and how you hope at some point they meet up again. They're able to rekindle that acquaintance. But the relationships in this is really what drives the book, and the writing about those relationships and the environment that they are written in. It takes place mostly in Italy, and you are mostly following these 2 characters, although I would say Ulysses is probably the most prominent character. As a soldier coming back from war, having to really deal with what happened at home during the war, and then having to deal with the consequences of being at war, and how he ends up in Italy is also quite an interesting little story. But this found family at its finest, spectacular book. And then we have The Arsonist City by Halal Al-Yen. If you want found family, you do Still Life. If you want real biological blood family, it's The Arsonist City. This is a story about the Nasir family, and they are the Nasser family, N-A-S-R, Nasser. I'm not sure how to pronounce that properly, family, and they are spread across the globe, but ultimately they have to come back together in Beirut because the father has decided to sell the ancestral home in Beirut, and nobody really wants him to do that. So they all decide to come together to try to convince him not to do that. And it's a story of their lives and how they've been pulled apart due to politics and conflict and brought back together, and how the siblings are so different from one another, but yet are still, they're still siblings. So there's still something that really holds them together. And I think that Aliane writes incredibly well done sibling relationships. As someone who has 4 siblings myself, I know what that's like, because I do live very far from my siblings. I'm on the opposite side of the continent in a different country. I have one sister on the farthest east coast of Canada, and I am on the west coast of America. And then in between, I have 3 others. And so it's just really interesting to see how you can live such separate lives, but you're still so connected just because of your DNA, just what that does to create relationships. And I know it's not always ideal, but I think the way she writes about them in here is spectacular, and the family in this is really, really well done. We have a book that is being touted for, it's very popular right now. It's certainly going to come up for a couple of awards this year. It has already been longlisted for the Women's Prize in Fiction, and that is Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. This is just one of the most compelling stories I've read. The research and time and energy that would have had to go into this book to be able to write it the way she did is nothing short of incredible. You follow Demon, but I believe his real name is, I thought his real name was Damon. It doesn't matter. You follow Demon through his life. It's, I'm sure as you can tell, due to the title, a retelling of David Copperfield. I've never read that before, but it touches on all the same pertinent issues: child poverty, child abuse, addictions, just the whole cyclical nature of of all those issues, and how it really shapes the way this young man, what he's born into, what he's raised by, what he grows into, and what that can do to a person. There are just no words to say how beautifully written this is done, and I don't think that that's surprising if you've read anything else by Barbara Kingsolver. I'm not very familiar with her work. One of my goals for this year is to read a little bit more of her backlist, because I've read the Poisonwood Bible, but I don't remember it at all. But I can't get over how incredibly well written this book is, and the story, and you just become more and more entrenched in the story the longer the book goes on. Spectacular. And then finally, this was actually my first 5-star of 2022, but it's the last one I'm going to talk about. It's A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I just really loved the relationships in this book. I thought that the way, which seems to be an overarching theme in a lot of these books, apparently relationships are important to me in my books, but the love between the 4 main characters in this, I thought was so well done and compelling, and you could really just feel the emotion being written on the page. And yes, there is a lot of trauma in this book. There's a lot of sadness in this book. There's so much heaviness in this book, but there's so much love in this book, and I think that really is what drives the story forward, is the relationships between these 4 boys as they age. And it does cover several decades of life. So good. I love this book so very much. This was probably my biggest surprise of the year. But those are my 6 most recent 5 stars, and also my best of 2022. So pick what you want, whatever it is. Like I said, Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi so far this year has been the only book even close to a 5-star, I think, for me. But I'm hoping that we will change that. I did read a nonfiction actually that was 5-star. We're not talking nonfiction here though. So anyways, I hope everybody's having a lovely day. I have spent the last 2 days without power. There was a crazy storm that came through California, and our power went out, and that was really interesting. So this morning was about charging up all of our stuff again, because we finally got power back, and cleaning out the fridge, because a lot of food had to get chucked. So there you have it, folks. I hope, like I said, you're all having lovely days, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.